What's up, guys? Welcome to the Yak Chat episode 13, where we talk about all things kayaks, all things fishing all the time. My name is Jay with Bearded Dad Fishing, and I'm glad you've taken the time to be here with us today. This podcast is streaming live on YouTube, and it's available on demand on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So if you guys are watching live, we want to hear your questions, your comments, and of course, those smart remarks. And if you're listening later on, make sure you drop a review wherever it is you're listening. So I teased a couple weeks ago that I, along with 8 other anglers, will be representing Team Puerto Rico, it's Puerto Rico if you don't speak Spanish, at the Pan American Kayak Championship on Lake Murray next month at the end of September. So this is one of the biggest kayak fishing events of the year, every year. Countries from all over the world are represented in an Olympic-style competition with teams vying for the gold, silver, and bronze medals. That said, we're going to be joined with 2 special guests today. So Cris Blanco of Urban Fishing TV, which you might have remembered from a couple weeks ago, who joined us. He'll also be fishing alongside me on Team Puerto Rico, and Ray Heredia, who is the president of the Puerto Rico Sport Fishing Federation. So we'll be talking about not just the Pan American Championship, but also how this tournament is crucial in expanding the sport of kayak bass fishing and how the Puerto Rico Sport Fishing Federation plays a role. Again, this is an interactive show, so if you're watching live, get your questions ready, as well as those dad jokes, because at the end of the show, you know that we're going to be going over those dad jokes in our funny or crummy segment. All right, so before we get to the weekly catch-up, as usual, just want to give a shout-out to our premier sponsor, Lead Time. Lead Time has been a fantastic sponsor of the show, and they've been powering my kayak setup this entire season. I've been rocking with their 12-volt, 100-amp-hour smart battery with Bluetooth, and it's been rock solid. The Bluetooth capability is super cool, and at $300, it is honestly a steal for your kayak. So I'll include their link below in the show notes, and make sure you use the discount code BDF6 for 6% off your entire order. And we want to thank Humble Imprints as well, the official custom apparel sponsor of the Yak Chat. If you're watching, they made this t-shirt, Bearded Dad Fishing. If you're listening, you can't see it, but it's okay. Humble Imprints creates custom t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mug stickers, anything that you could put your business or club logo on. And the best part is that 10% of the net proceeds benefit families and children in the foster care system. So check them out at humbleimprints.com. All right, so weekly catch up. I don't typically ask for this, but if you guys are watching live, just do me a favor and like this video. That helps us in finding other people finding this live stream and this channel, and it really is helpful. And again, if you're listening later on demand, leave us a review. It helps big time, big time, big time. Also, Knucklehead Bass Fishing Series, guys, it is wrapping up. We're in August, which is absolutely the last month of the series. But it's not too late to sign up and fight your way to Alabama. All right, now this is the last month, but you can still get on the team. All the details of how it works, what the prizes are, and how to sign up are linked in the show notes below. I'm going to pull up the screen real quick so you guys can see where August is standing. So, Team Bearded Dad right now, we have 3 guys already on the team, plus myself. So we got Mac Toon, who won May, Jonathan Miller, who won in June, and Jacob Tomlin, who won in July. And so far, August is stacked, man. So we got first place, Rick Peters out of Virginia with 103.5 inches, Larry Stroman out of Massachusetts with 93.25 inches, and Alex Pers from Georgia with 93.5 inches. So second and third place got some ground to make up, but there's still plenty of days left to do so. So again, not too late to join. You guys could still get in on there and join us. All the information is going to be linked down below. And lastly, before we bring the guys on, we have our next episode is going to be September 1st. We got a special guest coming on. One of the top anglers, hands down. Man or woman, kayaker, boat, it doesn't matter because she's going to give them the smoke. We got Christine Fisher joining us on the Yak Chat. So September 1st at 8 p.m., we're going to be talking about becoming a full-time angler, what it takes, how to achieve this, and the challenges that come along with it. So again, September 1st, make sure you guys jot it down. Anyways, now we have our guest coming on. All right, enough of me blabbing, guys. Really excited about this. What up, boy?
What's up, yo?
Orta.
Yo, what's up? What's up?
Yo, thanks for joining us, bro. Like always.
Thanks for having me.
For sure, man. And we got Ray Heredia and Cris. Guys, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for the invite. Happy to be here again.
Of course, bro. So like I said, Cris joined us before, and he is one of my teammates, and honestly, one of the reasons I got onto the team for Team Puerto Rico. And we're super excited. In just a little, maybe under 6 weeks, we're going to be out there on Lake Murray, which I've never fished it. But if you guys have never seen Lake Murray, it is, look it up on a map. It's huge, man. Stupid big. But it's going to be fun. Really excited about that. So, Cris, real quick, I know you came on a couple weeks ago. Can you fill us in, for the people that don't know, a little bit of your background and how you got here with fishing and Urban Fishing TV?
Sure. I mean, I'm just a guy that loves fishing. For some odd reason, I had access to a GoPro 4 or 5 years ago, and I decided to start recording, my content. It sucked. I fished horribly, but that kind of helped me look at other sources of information and get better and learn about the sport. And, from just, I do have some background on fishing when I was younger with my grandpa, which was, I stopped for many years, but that spark ignited again, and that's what brought me to where we are now, where I'm dedicating a lot of my time to the fishing world, and more specifically on the kayak side.
Okay, awesome, man. And you do some tournaments, right?
Yeah, so in preparation for the Pan American tournament, I decided to jump ship. I've always been wanting to be part of a tournament trail. Of course, I follow Guillermo, Christian Fisher, Shao, all these people that high names or high rollers on the industry. And I've always had that desire to get into the tournament scene. And we actually have a very good scene here in Florida. It's called the FKBT Trails. It actually has people that have Blake Abbey, for example, who won Hobie BOS in the past season. We have Chris Mitchell, just big players. And my progress was to learn from them this year. I had 3 very strong finishes that, helped me kind of solidify my spot in the team and make for it to make sense, right? To be part of the team and join you in this adventure.
Yeah, that's dope. We actually had Blake on here a couple months ago. He's probably one of the coolest anglers I've met. And thankfully, Juan helped facilitate getting him on the show. But really cool dude, man.
Mm-hmm. Very down to earth guy, and that's the thing with these trail. I've never felt left out. I've never fished. I live in Southwest Florida, so every tournament for me is a 4-hour drive.
Yeah.
And these guys really help me feel more comfortable. Fishing is on you. They're not gonna carry you through the tournament, but they're gonna make sure that you are comfortable and feel safe on that environment and welcome. So I think that's what I really liked about it. And I'm gonna continue. So this year I'm gonna be doing FKBT again, Florida Redfish Series, and Hobie BOS. As many tournaments as I can. Yeah.
Yeah, dope, man. And I was supposed to ask you first, and I skipped over my note. What's your favorite snack when fishing, bro?
Well, so last time I said M&Ms, that has changed drastically.
Ooh,
in order for me, because I get healthier as we get close to the tournament. I want to be in the best shape and kind of continue that trend through the rest of my life. So honestly, nuts and any type of cashews, some trail mixes here and there to kind of break the ice. I'm not a peanut guy, for example, but I've slowly transitioned, and I feel it's fine. I do miss my M&Ms, but we'll get there.
Yeah. That's a good choice. We gotta, especially when we get older now. It's like we can't be. I don't know. I can't be. If I notice if I eat bad, my body feels it right away now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, all right, Ray. I'll ask you first because I wanted to do that. What is your favorite snack? Before we get into who you are and how you got here, bro. What's your favorite snack when you're on the water?
My favorite snack nowadays is just protein bar, granola bar, something like that. When I'm fishing, well, it depends. If I'm tournament fishing, I don't really eat a lot, so something like that, crackers or something, or like granola bar, something I can wolf down as I'm riding across the lake in the boat. But
All
yeah,
right, so keep
I
it
don't
simple.
eat a lot. Yeah.
All
And I
right,
drink a lot of water and stuff like that to stay hydrated.
true. Okay, nice, man. We got a couple guys that commented on what their favorite snacks were. So we got Top Shelf Fishing. He said Uncrustables are his favorite.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
Christina said goldfish crackers. That's funny, goldfish.
You
and
know
you're
what's my
fishing.
main issue with crackers? I always get them wet, and it becomes a
Ooh,
mess on the boat. It truly becomes a mess on the kayak, and
that's true.
I stopped. So I used to have some chips. It was awful.
They get all mushy on the I
Yeah,
do the
nasty.
same
At least me, I'm very clumsy when it comes to that.
thing.
I break them, so I be having crumbs. I don't even, you know what I mean. By that time, it's just like the. That's it. Yep, that's it. I'm just eating dust at that point.
Yeah, Ray Johnson, Pop Tarts. My guy always goes with the Pop Tarts. Finch says jerky. Oh, Uncle Stumpy, another one for grape Uncrustables. Awesome, man. It's cool to see what everyone's taking out there. Me personally, man, I like jerky, but I usually take a sandwich out there, and Juan will tell you, like, I'll make like a grilled egg sandwich. And even if I'm fishing tournaments, I'm still like gonna take a break to eat. I know some guys like religiously will just not eat during tournaments, but I'll chow down.
Yeah, I don't care. I gotta eat.
Yo,
Just
for
grab
real.
a drop shot whenever you're eating.
That's right, and just drift.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good call. So Ray, tell us a little bit about your background with fishing, how you landed here, and then we'll get into a little bit of the Puerto Rican Sport Fishing Federation.
So I'm a little bit more seasoned than the rest of you guys. I've been competitive fishing for almost 30 years now, it seems. So I got started. I'm retired Air Force. I did over 20 years in Air Force serving our country.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure. Matter of fact, that's why I started bass fishing while I was active duty. My best friend, one of my best friends' name's Larry Stretch Gaines. He's the one that got me into bass fishing to start with because I was big into saltwater fishing. I fished all my life. So he asked me to come bass fishing with him, and I told him, I said, man, what you catch, I use for bait because I was big into saltwater fishing. So he got me to go out there, and I had a good time. And then a little bit later on, a few other times, he said, hey, let's go do a tournament. At that point, I'd never, the only time I saw a tournament was on TV. So I didn't really understand it. And this is back in the 90s. So that dates me a little bit.
Wow, okay.
So we went out there, had a good time. And I've always been into sports, played, basketball, football, and I even refereed high school football and basketball for years. I did that as I got more seasoned once again. So because I've always been competitive, I got into fishing. The tournament drew the competitive spirit out of me. So I was all in at that point. So I started researching, getting into it. Did well enough that I've got picked up by a few different companies over the years, and try to give back to the community now. I've been doing that for years with kids, doing stuff with kids and going to schools and just competing. So
okay, cool, man. And you're still doing competitive angling, of course, right?
yes.
And you're going up to the St. Lawrence coming up here?
Actually, I'm going up to the St. Johns River in Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada.
Okay.
Myself and 15 other anglers for the Puerto Rico Sport Fishing Federation team is going up there to compete in the 2024 Pan American Bass Championship.
Gotcha.
September 25th to the 29th.
Okay, so same weekend that we'll be over in Lake Murray.
Same time you guys will be at Lake Murray. Yep.
Awesome, bro. So we'll have some brothers in Canada that we're cheering on, and then some brothers in South Carolina.
Correct.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Awesome, man. So in regards to the Puerto Rico Sport Fishing Federation, How and why did you decide to get that started?
Well, like I said, I've been fishing for all these years, and I've always have my Puerto Rico flag on my jerseys and stuff like that. And it came to my attention. Somebody asked me about why is Puerto Rico not represented at the Black Bass World Championship that they had coming up, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And they explained it to me, and I said, "Okay." So I went through the process of putting together a team. We had a 6-man team that fished in the 2022 Black Bass World Championship that was at Lake Mary,
Wow.
South Carolina in 2022, October 2022. It was an amazing experience, we had 25 countries from around the world, countries like Germany, Romania, you would not think they would have bass in those countries, some of those countries, but they do. And it was a great experience, walking across the stage with our Puerto Rico flag, the Puerto Rico national anthem playing, and it was just an amazing experience. Brought a lot of pride. So at that point, we were not federated at that time. Like I said, I just put together 6 other anglers, some of my former military guys that I knew, Puerto Ricans I knew that fished, and got them involved. So 2023 comes around, the U.S. angling president said, "Ray," he was like, "You need to become official with the organization." So I went through the process of doing all the paperwork, the federation paperwork, and through the international headquarters, which is in Italy, the SIPST and FIPST organization that run all international tournaments.
Okay.
For that. So that's who we are. We became an official member in May 2023, and that's how we've got to where we are now. We've been a little over a year been in existence. I met Cris, matter of fact, in July 2023, ICAST 2023, yep.
Wow.
And at that point, myself and a couple of our board members, Vice President and Marketing, Brian Arroyo and Angel Padilla, they were with me, and we were going around. We were talking to different people, explaining about what we were trying to do. And Cris heard about it. He got really hyped. He was interested. We met Guillermo Gonzalez there, and he was actually on the U.S. angling team for kayak. And when he heard about Puerto Rico, he was like, "I want in." So we got him to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So in 2023, I sent 2 teams out. I sent a team to Portugal, which I was a part of. We had a 6-man team go to Portugal to represent the World Championship, Black Bass World Championship. And we had 16 anglers go to Lake Hamilton in Arkansas to fish the Pan American Bass Championship. And we shocked a lot of guys at the Pan American because one of our teams was just ounces away from a bronze medal. Our first time ever being there. And that kept the U.S. ended up sweeping all 3 gold, silver, and bronze in the individual team part of it. But one of our teams was just a couple ounces from actually snatching one of those medals and getting us started. And here we are, 2024. We've got 3 teams going out. I've got you guys going to Lake Mary to fish in the kayak fishing championship. 16 of us going up to Canada for the Pan American. And then I've got 6 people going to Italy to fish the Black Bass World Championship in October. And we haven't even started on 2025. It's going to be 2025. We're going to South Africa, Mexico, and farther. So there's a lot going on. And I think it's a great organization. And that's why I put a lot of my time and effort working to try to get this squared away and keep us moving forward.
Wow.
Yeah. I can't imagine it's a small task to get it up and running, especially when we're talking about on an international level like that.
Yeah.
This is my second full-time job. I do still work for the government.
Yeah.
And then when I get home, you can ask my wife, she would tell you, I end up here in my office or on my laptop, sending emails, answering phone calls, WhatsApp chats with whoever asking questions for the team, and coordinate with the other the countries that are involved that are hosting the events that we're going to.
That's so cool.
That's cool, man. So you said you have a team. Is the one in Italy going to be kayak one too?
No, I could not put together a team this year to go fish the kayak world championship. I wanted to, but it was timing and stuff like that, trying to get the anglers together. So, but 2025, it's a possibility if there's going to be a world championship, a kayak world championship. And I actually think it'll be in South Africa. So if I can put a team together to go there, that's what I'll do. This year, the team that's going to Italy is just, it'll be normal boat, bass boats that they'll get there, and the host nation has to provide the boats for the teams that are coming in. So they'll be on a boat, and they'll go out and put some fish in the boat. That's the plan.
Yeah, that's what's up. Now, when they do these international scenarios, are they breed specific? Because I can't imagine. Are they all black bass related?
Repeat the question one more time. You start.
So like for instance, like if you're over in Europe,
yeah,
there's a lot of muskie, a lot of perch. So do the tournaments cater more to particular species when you're in particular regions, or
is it all bass?
So the tournaments that we entered so far, they're all bass specific tournaments. You may catch some other species in it.
Okay.
Because we were in Portugal, they have a zander, they call it, that's in the lakes there. It's similar to a walleye to me.
Yeah.
But some people have caught some while they were there. But there's the tournaments that we've entered so far are specifically bass. But our organization is an umbrella for all different types of fishing. So I can send guys for fly fishing. I can send guys for saltwater fishing. I can send guys for shore fishing, youth events, carp, women. They even have ice fishing that I can send a team to. Yeah. I don't know how many Puerto Ricans I can get to go to ice fishing, but I have that. The way I formed the organization allows that capability, because the U.S. angling team just were in Mongolia earlier this year, I believe, to fish the ice championship in Mongolia.
Wow.
Yeah, and I want to add a little bit of context to that. So, the org is very wide, right? We're trying to make this an Olympic sport. So they're it's not specifically for bass. Obviously, bass is one of the major movers when it comes to marketing, media, and money. But the United States has a saltwater team, again, a fly fishing team, like Ray said, and that they really try to encompass every type of fishing. Because it really, what I think happens is the more you have, the more eyes get on it, right? Mm-hmm. And as you put more people in perspective, you have more options to get to your final goal, which is, being an Olympic sport. With that being said, for our kayak tournament, there's a kicker. As of now, the rules state, and they're not official, right? They state that we're going to have to catch 3 black bass and 2 striper. So at the moment, the rulings that we're getting for that tournament is we're going to have to do 3 black bass, and then we're going to have to adjust our tactics to catch at least 2 stripers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's per angler, not per team.
Correct, per angler.
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique format.
Also, isn't there another interesting aspect of that where I think I'm getting
mixing them up.
Yeah, I was thinking of the knucklehead with the swap of the lake, but
no. But there's an interesting aspect though. No motors allowed on tournament day or pre-practice. Or the official pre-practice, right? For kayaks, right? So it's gonna be a pedal drive only, or a paddle if you want to try that. That's the only thing we could use for propulsion purposes.
And the reason they're focusing that, because I talked to U.S. Angling about the kayak division for that. The reason because they're trying to make it a level playing field to make it an Olympic sport. If they go because they have big kayak events in China and different places. So, to make it an even playing field, and trying to get kayaks for motors different country could be a problem. So that way, if they do make an Olympic sport kayak wise, that'll be an easy thing. Now for us boaters, I run a 250 Pro XS Mercury engine. I got a different scenario that I got to deal with.
Yeah.
But at different lakes that we go to when we travel overseas, I may not get that same type boat when I go to a different country. I've had guys being 90 horsepowers and stuff like that, but that's the boat that the country was able to provide, and we have to work through it.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah, so there's some disadvantages because you're using borrowed equipment.
Correct. And traveling last year, I had to travel to Portugal with a rod tube and all the baits I could carry. So limited. I had a bag just for baits that was about 70 pounds. My suitcase with my clothes in it was about maybe with some baits in there, and then my rod tube had a lot of baits. So the guys, it's a task when you're traveling to another country and then dealing with customs going through with that type of stuff. But you make it to do.
Wow.
Sure.
There's a good question on the chat. I'm sorry, if I jump ahead, Jay?
No, you're good, man.
But there's a question on the chat that I think he makes a very good point. So what about electronics? Electronics for now are allowed, even forward-facing sonar.
Yeah, for all events, for kayak and for my type of events as well.
Yes. Yeah. So bringing up the Pan American Kayak Championship, right? That's next month. So Cris said the format is it's a 2-day tournament, first of all, and the format is 3 black bass and 2 striped bass per angler. And we have Team Puerto Rico will have 3 teams, and each team is going to consist of 3 anglers, right?
Females included are part of Puerto Rico sport fishing. So
that's right. Yep.
We got a female. We got Yara Lopez who's fishing with you guys at Lake Mary, and I got Gretna Lara, female. She's coming from Puerto Rico to fish with us in Canada.
Yes. So thanks for that.
All inclusive.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. So thanks for saying that. So when that's 3 guys and/or girls on the team, right? So yeah, the one of the kickers is the no motors. The other one that not a lot of people, including myself, have experience with is that it's a shotgun start. So we have to all go from one singular launch, and that's the only access we have to get into the lake. And on a lake the size of Murray, like you're limited to where you can pedal or paddle, and that's it.
Wow.
Yeah. And I want to bring something up. So it does make some team members a little bit nervous, right? Because some of them haven't had a shotgun start, or they feel limited because they don't have their forward-facing sonar. But on our team's meeting, Guillermo made a good point that I want to advocate. So it's all about how we adjust, right? We have the opportunity to fish different waters than people that are going to be further because they're faster, or they're going to be deeper because they have live scope. So it's all about really making our practice, making the best out of our practice, and understand what's going on, understand patterns. I think that's the key to success on this tournament.
One of the biggest things I think you guys need, and I do that, we practice that with the rest of our team as well, is after each day of fishing, you guys as a team need to get together and discuss during the practice sessions and even tournament time. What have you been doing? What have you been catching them on? Because you're there to represent Puerto Rico. So there's individual accolades by all means, but as a whole, you would love to get the team gold for Puerto Rico. You can make it an individual gold as well, but you want everybody on your team to be successful because it's there to, you're representing. It's just like the Olympics that just passed. You want to be there to get the whole team across the finish line as high as you possibly can. Yeah.
So how many teams, do you know how many countries are being represented there, Ray?
For you guys, keep talking. Let me take a look and see at the last the other
Yeah,
group,
yeah.
by one of the many groups that I'm in, see what the last amount of participants they had.
Yeah, I did try to search for that information, but it wasn't really readily available yet.
Yeah.
But
Something
Ray
I
has the plugs, so
Well, yeah, for sure. And something I saw, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong. The Pan American Championship in the past for the kayaks hasn't always been team based, right? Or
that's a question I don't know the answer of.
Say that one more time.
have they always been team based for the Pan American Kayak Championship?
Yes,
They
as
have
far
been?
as I know, because you're there representing. You're going to have the individual accolades, like I said, but you're there as a team. They have a
Okay.
team that be entered. That's from my understanding, from what I've seen.
Gotcha.
And you
That's
can go to, if you want to check the history and stuff like that, you can go to usangling.org, and they'll show all their stuff that they've been participating in. I will make a plug for our organization, Puerto Rico Angling.org. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, and so please, by all means, anybody wants to donate, we need these guys. Let me put this out there: my teams are our teams are paying all of the expenses out of pocket. We don't have the big bucks rolling in like the U.S. and different stuff like that. My goal is to eventually get to the point where we, as an organization, can pay for all the expenses for the team, the angler. But like I said, we're only a year old, a little over a year old, and it's going to take time to get there. But we got highly motivated people like Jay and Chris and the whole rest of our anglers who are really excited and enthusiastic. And I think the potential is there. So I just sorry about that. Just thought about it as I was talking. As you were talking.
Oh, for sure. And comment from Cotton Candy Kayak. You say you should be packing some tostones for a kayak snack. So if y'all don't know what tostones are, it's
a crushed plantain.
Twice fried.
Yeah,
right, crushed plantain. I love tostones. They're my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I hope we get some tostones down there. And JC Bass Fishing asks, how do people become members of the Puerto Rico Sports Fishing Federation, Ray?
So tell them, reach out to me or the rest of my board members. You can go in. Matter of fact, you can go to our website. Like I said, PuertoRicoAngling.org. There is a membership link on there that you can go to join and become a member. And you can be a member, but not an active fishing member. You can be just because you want to support. So we appreciate that, because the membership money that's put in, it will allow us to take care of these administrative fees and these membership fees. We gotta pay for SIPs, FIPS, and Pan American, and they're not cheap. So
yeah,
cool.
So and anyone can join, right?
Yep.
And they would just go right on there. Puerto Rico. So I put it up on anyone watching, PuertoRicoAngling.org.
And just so you know, we try to be very professional. We have a great time. We have a code of conduct of how we expect people to be in the part of this organization. We can't have people going out there. If you're wearing this logo and this jersey, just like you're wearing Chris is wearing Packback. You've got yours. You got Tackle Warehouse, I think. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
So if you're going to be if you're sponsored or you're with an organization, you want to maintain professionalism within that, because you're representing that organization, whatever sponsors you may have. So if our code of conduct stipulates how we're going to address things, because we can't have somebody going out and making Puerto Rico look bad. So I'm just putting that out there as a disclaimer, because I don't want people. This is not a club. This is a professional organization. Because if clubs are the ones that you guys get together, we go have a beer, fishing a little place or whatever and stuff like that. That's a smaller thing. If we want to get to Olympic type status, we've got to dot our I's and cross our T's to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I apply the Army values. That's something that really changed my life, and I translate that to my personal life. And this is really a dream of mine. I want to represent the island on the big stage, not for personal endeavor. It's really more of, you know, I lived in the island for 30 plus years, and it's very important to me to bring awareness of, you know, what we're capable of. But that starts with, you know, us representing the team and the island as it needs to be represented. So that's very important, and you've seen it on our team meetings. We are always advocating for that, and that resonates on most teams. I've seen it. I've been on a couple of other meetings or live meetings from other teams, and you know that's a topic that's always discussed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, hearing this is just like, it's super cool. Growing up, my dad was involved in a lot of stuff. He was one of the first people to ever graduate the Ogacrea way back in 1989, and I mean, I'm talking like straight as an arrow. And after that, worked for the same company for 35 years, never was late, retired, and was a part of the Latino caucus there, was a part of the Puerto Rican Parade Committee, and helped bring, we brought La Máquina out here back in the 90s. So, you know, so all this kind of stuff, it really resonates, you know. Just hearing my dad talking to different, you know, companies, dealerships, so that we could get the parade filled up, you know, with different cars and convertibles, and you know, so, you know, hearing all this is just super dope, super fire. Loving the connection right now, and I'll be excited to check out the website for sure. Yeah.
We have a couple good questions too.
Yeah, I see.
First, Anthony Laterno, and it's a good question. You have to be Puerto Rican to join the Puerto Rican Sport Fishing Federation.
Yes, to be a part of our organization, if you want to compete, yes. If you want to support, by all means, we don't have a problem with you. We welcome your support to help us along the line. But to compete in the organization, you would have to be Puerto Rican or a family member. It's just like the Olympics. If you saw the Olympics, would have a parent of one of the
I think it's a second generation, right?
Right,
so you can
exactly. And they were allowed to do it, you know, to compete in the sport. That's how they're setting the rules up for to make it Olympic. They have to keep along those Olympic guidelines to get us to that point.
That's cool. Okay. And another good question. So Damascus Media Group is actually individually sponsoring myself and for this and for the Knucklehead coming up, but they ask how can they get more information to become a sponsor for the federation?
Reach out to me, contact me. Jay, I'm sure Jay's got my email address.
Yeah, and I'll put it down in the show notes and on the video description too.
Please, by me, reach out. My phone number. You're welcome to call me, and we can discuss and go from there. And I've been doing a lot of paperwork for this, so I've got a lot of information that I can provide to you and show you what we're doing. Because people don't realize, and this was brought up in ICAST, the biggest growth in the fishing industry has been the Latino community, Hispanic community. We Latinos, Hispanics have made a big jump in the industry, or fishing in general. So, so people have to be aware of that and realize we are a market that people can tap into. And a lot of us, 98% of my anglers, I would say, except me, are bilingual, speak Spanish and English fluently. I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish fluently. And here I am, the president of the organization, but somebody had to do it. But that shouldn't make a difference. If you've got the culture and you feel strongly about it, you should be involved one way or another. But yeah, by all means, reach out and we can have a conversation by all means.
Yeah. And like I said, I'll have all of the contact info for both Cris and Ray in the description of the video and on the show notes of the audio podcast.
And for all those people that are interested in partnering up with any team, this is a bigger stage than people think, right? We're taking some of the momentum Hobie BOS had, and now a couple months later, we're having this tournament. So people are gonna get interested. They're gonna be watching. A lot of content is gonna be recorded. Our team is gonna be recording a lot of content for YouTube and other media sources. So there are gonna be eyes on this event, and that's important for the people to know.
So to add on to what he just said, so what really intrigued me when I fished me and the other guys fished the World Championship in 2022. We had 7 Hispanic Latino teams there. Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Mexico, Spain was there, El Salvador.
That's what's up.
So that, we had a big, the Pan American is a lot, with the Americas, the one we're fishing, the Pan American, what you guys are fishing for the kayak division and what we're going to. So it's all North America on down. In Canada, they're going to have some Native American teams competing in this event.
Wow.
Fire.
So, it's getting a lot of attention. And just like Cris was saying, at ICAST, another big announcement was that Bass Pro Shop, Johnny Morris, is getting behind the U.S. team to help push this for Olympic thing. So that's a lot of money going into this or into this to make it happen from the U.S. side. We as Puerto Ricans, we're U.S. citizens, but we just want a little small piece of the pie so I can get our guys. Yeah, just a little piece. It's a mindset. Like I said, most of our team anglers are bilingual, so we give an extra thing for companies to think about if they want to become part of this organization.
Yeah.
Sure. So we had touched a couple times, both Ray and Cris, about this kind of being a prelude, if you will, to becoming an Olympic sport. So how does this translate to becoming an Olympic sport as we move on?
So it's going to go through the Olympic Committee. So the U.S. did, and along with all the board for the International Federation, SIPST, they're the spearhead of everything. So the different board members, all part of it, they keep doing. The bigger these events get, draws more eyes, brings more value to potentially make this. They just had breakdancing in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
So
if that's what you want to call it.
There was. We won't talk about that one.
Crazy.
I know. I grew up on that, so I'm like, that's all right. How's that? Yeah. Anyway.
You could have got gold.
But so if they can get breakdancing into the Olympics, why not fishing? Matter of fact, fishing was, and I did a post a few weeks ago. They did have fishing as part of the Olympics in the early 1900s. I'd have to go back to the posted date time frame that happened. So they did have fishing. It was just, it was in Europe, in Paris, I believe. But the potential is there just to bring it back now. Now we just have to keep pushing forward, keep getting more anglers involved with each country, and the SIPST will push forward with the backing from all the other countries. There's 115 countries involved in this, in the SIPST organization, working for this. So it's a big deal. A lot of people involved.
Wow. So the vision really just came from that one little moment where you had that interaction where somebody was like, yo.
For Puerto Rico, yes. Because I would never have thought about it, for my otherwise. And so once it came up and I reached out to the guys, matter of fact, some of the guys on this chat that I'm seeing now, JC Bass Fishing, Hector, they were part of the team we were part of the team that went to that first World Championship. As a matter of fact, that's where we met our vice president for the U.S. I've got 2 vice presidents. I've got a USA regional vice president, and I've got a Puerto Rico regional vice president, because the island is very important to be involved in this. Mm-hmm. But my U.S. vice president, he used to be the number 2 man in the whole United States for the Fisheries and Wildlife Department.
Wow. So
he would travel around the world, for conservation and stuff like that. So he retired from the government after 30 plus years, and he became a part of the organization as my vice president. JC Bass, he's our secretary in the organization. So he's a retired sergeant major. Hector, as you see on there, he's a retired first sergeant for the Army. So I've got people. I did my best to get people involved in the organization who have the same mindset to push forward and some structure to help us build this foundation for future generations, because I'm not going to be around forever, and neither are those guys.
Yeah.
So if we can build it now for you future generations like Chris, Jay, and all those other guys down the road, keep it moving for the, and bring more kids and youth into the sport and women. I want everybody I want us to be all inclusive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a question on the chat that I can help answer. Not sure if you can bring it up, Jay. Yeah, so he's asking how close are we to making this an Olympic sport? So U.S. Angling actually has on their website they have a what should I call it? They have a kind of a description on the status of where they're at right now. They're in the last leg of this race. They are on the ARISF, which is the OIC, if I'm not mistaken. So we're very close to making it available to be part of the Olympics, right?
Mm-hmm.
As you know, and you saw this year, the nations decide what sports are going to be included and what not. But if we're not part, or we don't have that recognition, we can't make it happen. So that is the most important thing right now. And from there, you're going to start getting these different countries trying to push until we get it into the international stage.
And that's one of the reasons I got Puerto Rico involved, because if we were not officially federated, we would not have been part of the equation.
I got you.
So our foot is in the door now, so that way we're officially a part of all of this, so we can move forward and continue moving forward. And to answer your question about how many kayak event teams, it looks like 11 or 12 is what I'm showing.
That's a lot.
Philippines, Mexico, Guatemala, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Canada, U.S.
Wow.
So, yeah, there's some teams coming.
Yeah. As far as the Philippines, man.
That is crazy.
That's awesome.
And so, all right. So do you guys link up? I remember like my pops, like with the Latino caucus that he ran. That was a Latino caucus for it was called the Agglomerated Transit Union. So it was like union workers from all over the United States who were Latino, representing their heritage, and working from anything from rail, guys who did buses or subways or any kind of public mode of transportation. They had from Seattle to Sacramento to San Francisco to Miami to Houston, Atlanta, New Hampshire, Boston. So, and they would pick a new place every year, Chicago, and have like these regional, annual meetups. Do you guys do that too? So
you bring up a good thing. I've also founded myself and Julio JC Bass Fish Channel. It's been almost 8 years ago, founded an organization called Latin American Bass Anglers. And I created that organization to allow, because like I said, I've been competitive fishing for years.
Yeah.
And I created an organization to allow Latinos a chance to get together, to socialize, network, camaraderie. And it's just us, Latin American, predominantly fishing together. I've had Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans, Mexicans, everybody coming in El Salvador, coming to participate. Yeah. And I move this tournament around every year. As a matter of fact, 2025, the plan is for it to be at Lake Santee Cooper in South Carolina. The first year I had it in St. John's River in Florida. I've been in Gunnersville, Alabama.
That's
Lake Lanier in Georgia. So I try to move it around every year, and it gives the guys from different areas a chance to fish.
Mm-hmm.
New water. It gives, especially if you've never fished a different part of the country, it gives you an opportunity to fish those other lakes, and it grows your fishing
experience.
Because fishing at Lake Lanier for spotted bass versus fishing at Santee Cooper for largemouth flipping and pitching is two different things.
Very different.
And if you've never had those experiences, that's why one of the reasons the Latin American Bass Anglers was created. It's like up in Canada, we're going to Canada. guys coming from Puerto Rico have never caught a smallmouth before.
Mm.
So they won't. This will be their first experience.
Trying to even.
Correct. So they've been like sponges trying to learn everything they possibly can about smallmouth. What a smallmouth does. I fish. I've had the pleasure of fishing all over the country for the most part, and I fish all over the world. I've been to South Africa bass fishing. I've been down. Matter of fact, the picture DJ put up there, my wife and I were just in Argentina, Golden Dorado fishing. Africa, I fished in Africa. I fished Panama. So every bit of fishing that I get teaches me a little bit more. So that's what, Latin American bass anglers has that same potential to get guys together from all genres to talk, fishing, and a network, because you got Jay's in Pennsylvania, Chris is in Florida.
Yeah.
Say Jay said, "Hey, Chris, I'm coming down there to Florida. Can you help me out? Teach me some?" He's got the network is being built with Latin American bass anglers. That's what I generated it for, to allow people to reach
Looks like
out.
Ray froze up.
I did.
Oh no, I didn't. He didn't freeze up on my side. Did you? I didn't.
Oh, so
I didn't see, but maybe G did. Yeah.
So it's just to give people an opportunity to reach out with each other and communicate, make those connections. Because the fishing industry is a small community for the most part, just in the sponsorship world, and those guys. But for Latinos, we have a small network now, but with the potential to grow is there with making these connections and spreading the word.
Yeah. When you guys decide to go to Santee Cooper, what time of the year do you plan on going?
So it's going to be towards the end of March, first part of the last weekend in March, first weekend in April. It's probably one of those two dates. Me and Julio have been trying to nail down.
Perfect.
So to me, I lived there for 8 years.
Wow.
If you've never been to Santee Cooper, they got some big fish there.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to hit it at the right time to guys have a good time. So
yeah, that's crazy. Me and Jay actually. So my folks relocated to South Carolina about 7-8 years ago.
Okay.
And I wasn't into fishing back then. Recently, I got into fishing, and down in that area, like North Charleston area, there's a lot of retention ponds in those private neighborhoods.
Yep.
Well, so I had learned a little bit. We go down there, me and Jay, and Santee Cooper was just an experience, man. It's a crazy place. It's a beautiful place. It's so huge.
Yeah.
And then I had an opportunity to go back and do some blue cat fishing. That's crazy there too. So wow, that's super exciting, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, the only stipulation with Latin American bass anglers, our stipulation rule wise, a Latin Hispanic person has to be in the boat. You can have anybody else you want as a partner, but it requires one Hispanic person to be either a boater or non-boater to make a team. It's a team event.
It's a team event in a boat.
In a boat.
I'm texting KVD right now to see if
boat. That's it. I gotta find somebody to meet.
And we are also now working. This past year was the first time we ever did it. I mean, this past year, January, we had an event was at the Harris Chain in Florida.
Oh wow!
January, when we used the Latin American bass anglers as a qualifying event for Puerto Rico, because I'm working to get qualifying tournaments for the Puerto Rico teams.
Okay.
So we used the Latin American as a qualifying event for the Puerto Rico teams this year, and we're just going to be moving forward. I just got to fine tune some of the details with it, so that way people understand what's going on. Because we'll have guys fishing for Puerto Rico opportunity and guys just fishing Latin America.
Gotcha.
Okay. Juan's over here scheming on making a trip down there.
I'm in my mind like, yo,
come on.
Nah, man,
I'll make sure you can go to we've got a group page on Facebook that we post everything for Latin American bass anglers. I think Julio will probably post something on the website as well, potentially. Puerto Rico angling. But yes.
Team slot, all that. And representing Santurce, Team Carolina, all that. Yeah.
So we did go out to Santee Cooper I think it was 2 years ago at this point. I put a video up That's the first and only time I've ever kayaked with gators.
Oh yeah.
I was a little nervous, but I saw Juan try to roll up on a gator in his little motorized canoe, man.
Yo, at that time I didn't even have a kayak, bro. I had a canoe with a motor on it, and so remember, my mom has the retention pond, and there's alligators in her pond, and when I go down there, they be trying to mess with me while I fish, and it makes me uneasy, and I don't like it. So I throw like a crazy big whopper plopper with like huge hooks on it, and I let him taste that, and I fight him for a little bit, and then after that he sees me, he recognizes me, he gets his distance, I get to fish, he gets to chill. Yeah, that's it. And every time I go down there, I gotta make him, because I have a son now, and he likes to be with me and be on the sidelines, and I don't need him, but it was crazy because last year I actually fell in the water catching a 5-pounder. Bro, and when I fell in the water, immediately I was freaked out because in my mind, the whole thing was filled with gators upon gators. But it was only one. And he was on the whole other side, and he was chilling. I saw him.
To be fair,
that's the only one you saw.
Well, no, so for what we know, I mean, does it be like that?
No, there's usually more. So we have a lake here called Headwaters. It's very famous. It's Headwaters, Fellsmere Reservoir.
Okay.
We launch at
night.
I've heard
there's a lot of gators in there, bro.
Yeah, we launch at night, and if you have your lights on, you're gonna see 40 or 60 eyes. So that's about 30 to 20 gators while you make your way to your spot.
Yo, my heart is beating fast right now. I'm just thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you a story something that happened, not to freak you out, but I did not see it. So some of the parts might be wrong for sake of transparency. On practice day on that lake, we had an angler, I think he was on a PA-14. He had a whopper plopper, and he had a gator come at him. So he burned the plopper to him, but the gator kept coming, so he didn't move out, and the gator bit the bow and flipped him. The biggest issue you have with Headwaters, it's topped off with hydrilla in a lot of parts, so you got to be careful because you can get tangled. Luckily, he made it out. Nothing happened, but Florida can be crazy. I've seen a lot of huge gators here.
Yeah, those Florida gators don't play, man.
Chris, I watched Jay and Juan, their eyes coming.
Yo, because the story. You don't understand, because after spending like 10 or 12 days of South Carolina being like real worried about gators, I come up here and I go into a stream. I live in PA too with Jay, so it's like, I go into a stream of water, and for a split second I'm looking around, I'm like, and I remember like, yo, what? Like, the worst I got to worry about is a beaver swimming by me fast. I'm
going to tell you something. There's nothing scarier than a 13-foot gator on his mating call. It looks like a dragon because they raise their tail and they have their head out. So imagine a 13-foot gator just making that water tremble and making that noise.
Wow.
The biggest thing you have to worry about is when they're nesting, the females around.
Oh yeah.
That's a problem there. If a female has a nest.
What time of year do they nest?
It just depends on different places. I
think they do it 2 times a year. So by spring could be one of them, and not quite sure, but
you don't think that was a nesting mom that I messed with, do you?
You still here, bro, so probably not. Yo, so for everybody watching right now, just put in a live chat, would you go kayak fishing around gators? Or if you have done it, let us know in the chat. I thought it was interesting. I was nervous. I wasn't too scared, but I kept my distance. Juan over here was the one poking Mother Nature.
I was trying to drive up to him and drive into him. And
if you want to break the ice, if you guys want to break the ice, let me know. I can get you hooked up with some water-infested gator infested areas, so we can fish them and get that out of your system.
It's not too bad. Like South Carolina, when I fish at night, I'll go with like the little headlamp with the red on it. And the thing about them is they can't help but surface a couple of yards out. They want to get a gauge of where you're at. So you're going to see them 20, 30 yards out. You're going to see their little eyes along the water. You know what I mean? And then, you know, and you'll get an idea where they're at. You could move and make adjustments and, you know, it's not too crazy.
Yeah, you got to respect their space and figure out how they behave. And, you know, I haven't seen anything like a fatality of a kayaker being eaten by a gator here. So I think sharks are worse.
In Florida, they call them dogs. Like
puppies. Swamp puppies.
Y'all talking about gators. So I've on my bass boat, I've hooked in gators and stuff like that. The scariest thing that because I got a bass boat. When I went to South Africa, I was there fishing. I went bass fishing in South Africa as well.
Crocodile.
The guy that took me bass fishing we were fishing, and you know, you see the crocodiles, you see the. He said the thing that scares them most over there are hippos.
Oh,
wow!
That's
they had hippos crush the hull of a bass boat,
and
they'll follow you.
They are very aggressive,
very territorial.
Yeah, we actually, matter of fact, my wife and I were fishing the Zambezi River, I think it was, for tiger fish, and we saw some guys in almost like a canoe almost, but they were in like these dugout long canoes. And they came to this side of a bank and they had these huge dowel rods, about 4 inches round and about 14 foot long. And they started poking into the water, about 4 of them. And wife and I were with the guide and we were like, what's going on? And the guide was like, I don't know. And we were in a bass boat, a small little 17-foot boat. So we watched. After a while, he said, all right, let's go. So we got up, we took off, went over there, and he started speaking to him. And then we left, and he told us what happened. They were trying to recover a body because a hippo had killed somebody. And it went on, and they were trying to get it out of the water. Wow. And we were fishing one area, and we saw hippos in the distance. And we sat there, and they started moving closer. He said, let's go. So we threw the rods in, got on over, and took off. That they respect hippos over there.
Crazy.
Every place has their potential problem you got to worry about.
Man, let me tell you, the
over here we just got.
The thing is, what do? We're still going to go out there fishing because we're hooked on this. We can try it one way or another.
So check this out. One time I go to a place that's very local to me, one of my favorite spots to fish, and I went during a colder season. So early in the morning, it was very dark, but I knew I wanted to get out there early. I was trying to catch a muskie. Get to this spot, get everything set up, and while I was getting everything set up, it was so dark out there, and it was like little stuff like squirrels. But it was like, you know, because it was fall time, there was leaves. You know what I mean? So anything that moved made noise. You know what I mean? So between like the squirrels and like, I think a deer came by me, bro. And that was it. I said, you know what? I didn't even finish setting up my kayak. I went back in the car. I looked on my phone. I said, oh, what time does the sun come up? Oh, in like 45 minutes. I said, okay. I set an alarm for like 40. And I laid back and I just chilled for a little bit. And I waited for that sun to rise because I was so spooked, you know? So I couldn't imagine. I also couldn't imagine like Brazil, fishing Brazil.
I've been there too.
With the trying to put a fish back and like with the piranha. That's crazy.
Actually, we've caught piranha. My wife and I, we were in Brazil, peacock bass. My biggest is 24 pounds. Hers was 18. But we caught piranha. We ate piranha.
Wow.
And it was very, very tasty.
Wow.
Okay.
I wanted the thing I wanted to see there was an anaconda. I didn't see one. I don't like snakes, but I wanted to see one at a distance.
With the
thing down there, they have the caimans down there. That's like an alligator.
Oh yeah,
but, they would come up. They might try to come get your fish off, or it's really the pink dolphins that will take your fish more than anything else. The pink dolphins are river dolphins. They will come and try to eat your fish while you're in there.
Now, when you were down there, did y'all catch peacock bass as a part of the tournament?
No, we weren't there for a tournament. My wife took me there for my birthday. We were there living in the Amazon for a week on a riverboat fishing for peacocks.
Beautiful.
Oh wow! Did you fly fish them or?
I've got a fly rod. I didn't fly fish. I was all top. You know, you always see the thing on TV, top water.
Yeah.
I was throwing big top water baits, and that's how I got my big one. As a matter of fact.
Wow,
That's what's up.
that's dope, man. So I asked if people will fish with the gators. So JC Bass Fishing says if there's something in the water bigger than my kayak, you won't see me in that body of water. Cotton candy kayak.
No
He said, "Oh hell no, no gators." Damascus.
And so we're talking about kayaks. Get back. So I'm working last time. I didn't get a kayak division to go to the World Championship, but we're working on getting a saltwater kayak division. So you saltwater kayak anglers, Puerto Ricans, if you want to become part of the Puerto Rico team, by all means, come on. And just so everybody knows, you don't have to be born in Puerto Rico to be a part of an organization. Most of the Puerto Ricans nowadays are born here in the United States.
Yep.
But so the thing about it is, you guys, the saltwater kayak guys, you guys are a little bit off because I've seen the shark videos of the hitting the kayaks. So yeah, I don't think you won't see me do. I do a lot of saltwater fishing, but it's going to be in a boat. I'm not.
I have a
saltwater
reel.
kayak guys, more power to you.
I have a reel on Instagram where you can see how the shark peels my line out. They're cool, man. I love sharks. The only issue is when there's scenarios where they make you uncomfortable, right? So if you have not sure how it's called or what the name is, but if you have a line attached to your kayak where you have your fish on the water,
like a stringer,
yeah, you're definitely gonna get some sharks. Even if it's a feet or 2 feet of water, they're gonna start circulating around you and trying to catch your fish.
Wow.
I'm more scared of the manatees though when I'm on a kayak, and here's the reason why. So yeah, manatees sometimes are in pots, and when they're big and they get scared, what they do initially is they flip their tails, right? So they have the power to really raise your kayak and flip you. And if it's a pot, you're gonna get more than one. So I'm definitely more scared of manatees than anything from a flipping perspective. A shark will bite your kayak or your feet off, for sure. But just gotta make sure that you keep your feet on the water. Don't put your feet on the water, and that's gonna help you out.
Crazy.
Yo,
that's crazy.
For real, man. Anthony brought up a good point. He said you could open carry down here when you're fishing. So
yes,
he recommends that.
Well, I used to do it a lot. Now I don't open carry anymore just because you have so much stuff on you. It might be a mistake. I just have it on my PFD inside, accessible. I've been fishing on a kayak for 4 years now, and only once have I pulled out, my handgun to kind of scare the. It's funny because I felt like Scarface. I pull it out, point to it was a gator actually. I point to the gator and I started talking to him. That's not gonna work, obviously. Trying to intimidate him, that's not gonna work. But luckily, he kept moving. He kept moving next to me, never turned. So I was fine with that.
Yeah. Wow. All right. And last question I would do here, JC Bass Fishing. He said, where and how do people make donations to support the organization, Ray?
You can go to the website, once again, PuertoRicoAngling.org. We have a donation link on there. You can donate. Hey, beggars can't be choosers. $5, whatever, we take whatever we can get. And the more $5 we get, it'll go a long way. A little thing like that. So please, I highly encourage people to share the website, share our Facebook page, share our IG page. Jay, you can put that stuff up, because the more follows the Puerto Rico Sports Fishing Federation gets, sponsors look at that. Companies look at that. They want to see how you're resonating out in the industries, and it doesn't all have to be fishing companies that we're willing to take on as being sponsors. But anything like that, the more follows we get is going to help us. So please, by all means, share it with your family, friends, even some of your enemies. I don't care. As long as they like and follow our pages, it's going to help our numbers grow. So that way, like I said, we get to the point where we can pay for all the logistical stuff and expenses for these anglers, these guys, because all of our anglers are weekend anglers. They got full-time jobs, majority of them. Well, I have a few retired people, fully retired people that are part of it. But most of you guys, younger guys, me included, we have regular jobs as well. So we don't have the resources like the U.S. team. The U.S. team, their teams are all, their big bass teams are all pros. Fred Boom Boomer Bannis. They got Kevin Van Dam is going to be their coach this year. From now on. So, Gary Klein, all those guys are the ones that are on those teams. So they have that's where they make up. That's their living. We don't have that opportunity. We're kayak, regular fish. We're weekend guys. We just went. If you look at the Olympics for the U.S., it's the same scenario. Most of those people have regular jobs as well. So for us to be able to start paying for this, we welcome all the donations we can get.
Yeah. With that being said, I do want to take a time to, because we've had some companies help us out for this one, right? Yeah. So Omnia Fishing has helped us. Jack Attack is giving us a hand. Fish USA is also giving us a hand. Catch has given us a hand also. So there are some companies that
Sea Clear Power.
Yeah, we've had them. Then we've had Striking Loose also helping us out there. So we've had some support from companies. It's still out of our pocket, but it alleviates a lot of the cost that comes into this project for us. So anything that we get, we're happy with. Obviously, our goal is to as much help as we can get would be better. But we're always grateful for the opportunities and the help that we get.
Yeah, little by little, a little becomes a lot.
Exactly.
Yep.
Slow motion is better than no motion, baby.
There you go.
And I wholeheartedly agree with that, because I said if we hadn't gone through the process of getting it started, we'd be talking about it. What are we going to do? So getting it started in writing, federal, is the first step to make, to keep advancing. One thing at a time is how we're going to get there.
Yep. My pops used to say "palante," and for those who don't know what that means, it's just like, moving forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just keeping on with it. So word.
Cool.
That's what's up.
Before we get on to the last segment here for the funny or crummy, anything Chris or Ray you'd like to add onto the topic?
No, I just want to excuse myself. I am about to leave because I'm a little bit under the weather. I do have a fever right now. So
thanks for coming on, bro. I know you're not feeling well, so thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no worries. So, guys, we're here trying to give this dream a spark. The reason we're here in social media and we're talking about it is because we want people to look at it and understand that the purpose is bigger than just one tournament, right? We want to make this a worldwide event, give it recognition. So your support, it doesn't really have to be, if you can, support in a monetary way, just by viewing the content that comes out from any team will help tremendously. So we appreciate if you take some of that time and look at from the perspective of all teams, right? It's very important to look at USA. They're going to create their own content. Puerto Rico, Venezuela, all these teams are going to have their own stuff going on. So if you can take some of your time, which is precious, to look at this and help us promote the event, it would be great. It would be huge.
Yeah.
Sure.
Folks, have a good night.
Yo, thanks for coming on, Chris.
Bye.
Chris was on point, following us, liking our social medias, forums and stuff like that, is just those little things help.
Yeah.
You don't have to be watching us on a regular basis. Just a little, hey, you might see something flash up, you might like for whatever and like it. That the views is what, most of your social media influencers, that's what it's all about nowadays.
Yeah.
I bring back, it was 1900 Paris Olympic game angling. I found somebody sent me the link I'd posted before. That's when they had Paris Olympic Games.
Wow, 1900.
1900. It was in Paris. So yeah, they had over 600 fishermen about 600 fishermen, 40 were from 5 countries other than France.
Jeez.
France was majority of it, and they had some. But but the potential for Olympics is really high, and the only way we're going to get there is people, anglers, men, women, kids, all to be involved, to show interest and stuff like that. And all these views for all the different organizations, just like Cris said, is going to get us there for all these different countries. Because if you'll see some of my posts on my page, I always tag the organization that's hosting the event, the country, and stuff like that, because that's generating some visibility for their end as well as us. When I post in the thing about the different anglers, I make sure to tag that angler. I tag as much stuff as I can to help boost that angler's visibility, because in turn, to me, it's going to hopefully resonate back into the organization to grow us. Mm-hmm. It's not it's not going to happen overnight, and I know that, we know that, but one step at a time, we're going to get there. And so, people want to fish Latin American bass anglers, please reach out. If you want to be part of Puerto Rico sport fishing, please reach out. Please feel free to donate. And reach out and contact me anytime if there's questions about the organization. And if you're speaking Spanish and I can't help, I will get one of my fully fluent angler teammates to Jay maybe, or somebody who's going to help. We're going to get you squared away.
Yeah. I remember when I first talked to Ray, one of his first questions he asked me, he was like, "Do you speak Spanish like they do in the island, or are you like me?" I was like, I speak Spanish.
I speak Spanglish.
I understand more than I speak, and the guys, they all tease me, they harass me, but I'm 56 years old. It's a bit, that's no excuse, but I've been like this all my life. And I don't have time to sit down and practice Spanish, especially when I got a full-time job.
Yeah.
Regular, and now this full-time job on the side.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
Yo, real quick before we go, before we wrap this up, I just thought about this. I want to give props to the other teammates. So can you just fill us in with who the other 8 teammates are? Well, I guess 7 because it's.
You're talking about for your team going to the kayak team?
Yeah, for Lake.
All right, so we have, luckily, computer in hand, and I've got contact list. So for your team, you have yourself, Cris, Guillermo Gonzalez. He is your team captain, along with Cris. He's co-captain. Yara Lopez, Albert Santana coming from Puerto Rico. Jeffrey Rodriguez coming from Puerto Rico. Julio Cedeno coming from Puerto Rico. Who am I forgetting? Oh, Carlos Rivera coming from New York. So
we say Yara.
Yep, Yara said Yara. She's coming from Texas. Guillermo's coming from Texas. So our anglers are spread all over. So I think I've hit all 9 of you, I believe.
This would be a good mix of knowledge to sort out that lake and get it figured out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they're going to have to, like I said, they're going to have to definitely communicate and work together.
Yeah.
Every day after we get off the lake, they should be talking. I've got 16 people going to Canada. Myself, I got Edgar Quinones coming from Puerto Rico. His wife, Gretna, is our female. Angel Padilla, he's coming from Georgia. Jose Cruz coming from Puerto Rico. Myself here in Maryland. George Maldonado coming from Puerto Rico. Brian Arroyo coming from Virginia. Jorge Paella coming from Puerto Rico. Julio Candelario coming from Georgia. Hector Vasquez coming from Georgia. Albert Mendez coming from Puerto Rico and Georgia. He lives at both places. Robert Garcia coming from Puerto Rico. Antonio Gogo Gomez coming from New Jersey. Dan Julio Ortiz coming from Oklahoma. Jorge Nieves coming from Puerto Rico. Ramon Papo Sedano coming from Puerto Rico.
Wow.
And then that's the Italy team. I got 6 other guys. Matter of fact, 5 of them are on this. The only person 5 of them are on the Canada team. The only person that's not is Angel Padilla. So matter of fact, he's on this team. So matter of fact, all of them are on my team that's coming to Canada are going to fish the Italy event.
Wow,
Okay.
So
yeah, that's a squad, man. That's a squad.
It is. I mean, and they're coming from all over the country, all over Puerto Rico as well as in the U.S. So feel free to join. I don't care where you are. If you're Puerto Rican, you want to be part of it. Here's an opportunity. You want to represent. I'm telling you, Jay. I want Jay to have a podcast about how he felt after he walks across the stage with with his jersey, because his jersey's on the way. I hope to have him soon. I'll send him in, him and the rest of the team. When he walks across the stage with the Puerto Rico on his arms, the flag being waved, and national anthem, dude, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, that's
I've been in the military. Like I said, I'm used to the national anthem, the U.S. national anthem all the time, but to have that being played, it's a whole different scenario. A couple of guys I thought I saw. They said they had dust flying in their eye because it was a little. It's a different feel.
That would be me, because let me tell you, man, I do it for movies and stuff all the time. So I'd be up there, especially knowing how proud my dad would be. With that, I'd be, all kind of dust, and my eyes would be hella sweaty.
Yeah. I'm super excited, man. Yeah, super excited, and I'm honored to be on the team, and I'm really excited, man, because I really feel like the potential is there to bring a medal, for Puerto Rico, and whether I do, individual or not, like I want Team Puerto Rico to come through and start to solidify, because that's a squad, and there's hammers, bro, and not to mention, amongst the team. But for those that don't know, Guillermo is a very well known.
Guillermo has medaled for the U.S. a couple of events for the U.S. and world championships and stuff. He was fishing the U.S. He was on the U.S. angling team for kayaks. Yeah. He chased us down at ICAST. I think Chris had told him about it. He said, "Where?" So he came and found me and my partner Angel and said, "Hey, I want in." So, because he wanted to represent Puerto Rico, he's from San Juan. So he's a hammer. Matter of fact, all you guys are. It's just getting out there and doing it.
Yeah,
I've got faith in you guys and the utmost confidence. I think we've put together a great team to fish the kayak event, to go to Canada, great team to go to Canada, and a great team to go to Italy. We are going to show people that Puerto Rico is here to stay for fishing. Well, we got great fishing in Puerto Rico. And I hope to eventually host an event in Puerto Rico for either the Pan American or World Championship. Either whether kayak, saltwater fishing, or inshore, or there's some lakes there that got peacocks and largemouth. But we've got to build to that to get there. Sure. But the potential is there.
Awesome.
Yeah. Cool.
Super excited.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So let's I appreciate that, Ray. So if you haven't seen the podcast before, what we do is we do a segment called Funny or Crummy. So we're gonna read off some dad jokes that people have been submitting while the podcast has been going on. All right, so some of them are terrible, but it's okay because a bad dad joke is still good.
Yeah.
So before we get to that, though, just another shout out to our premier sponsor, Lead Time. If you guys are in the market to upgrade your battery and you need a lithium battery, check them out. They have, anything from 6 amp hour all the way to 100 amp hour and bigger if you're looking for a solar setup. But one thing that's really cool is I talk about their Bluetooth on their 100 amp hour batteries. Now they just released a 50 amp hour battery. So if you want something to run your electronics and still monitor with Bluetooth, now they got it. So whatever you guys need, make sure you check out leadtime.com and use the code BDF6 for 6% off your entire order. So let's get to these dad jokes. Ray Johnson, he's always the first one to drop something, man. So he says, did you hear about the two rowboats that got into an argument? It was an ordeal. Oh my gosh.
Yo, Ray, man, every week, bro. That's what's
always
up, man.
comes through, bro. But you know who else comes through? Cotton Candy Kayak, bro.
Yeah, let's hear this.
He said, why did the husband go fishing on Valentine's Day? To catch his wife a bouquet of flounders.
Got that. Okay.
All right. Let's see. All right. And Cotton Candy with another one. He said, I watched a good film about fishing last night. It had a good cast in it.
That's good. I like that.
All right. Ray Johnson, what's the best present? Broken drums. You can't beat them. Womp womp. All right, Jonathan says, what's the difference between snowmen and snow women? Snowballs.
That's good.
That was a good one. All right, last one, Cotton Candy Kayaks again. He said, what sort of lights did Noah have on the ark? Floodlight. I like that. I'm going to use that on one of my videos coming up, man. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Yo, I thank you again, Ray. Man, I really appreciate you coming out, man. You're doing big things for not just, Puerto Rico, but bass angling. It's awesome to see you have such a wealth of knowledge in the sport and to use it for something that is bigger than you. You know what I mean? Like, you're not doing it for your career. You're doing it to leave a legacy for, Puerto Rican anglers, like, moving on, bro. Like you said, past the time when you're gone, when we're gone, you're leaving something behind. But it takes real footwork, takes real elbow grease, takes sweat, and you're putting it in, man. So thank you for doing that, honestly.
My pleasure.
Yeah, and I just want to add that I can see your passion, and I just want to say I appreciate it, man. Because like Jay said, you're bringing something to the forefront and you're creating opportunity. And I think that's huge. And you're creating a platform for representation. And, I think that just your mentality on how you envision, the product, the end result, that image of that angler, that representation that you have and the pride that you have behind that and what you look for. And that it's inspiring, man. So, I'm excited. I think it speaks for Puerto Rico and what we represent as Puerto Ricans. And I can't wait to see, that shown through, the different anglers throughout the competitions, with our demeanor, our humor, and, just the way we are unique in that fashion. So the fact that you're going to allow that to come to the forefront, man, is super exciting. So thank you.
My pleasure. Reach out to me, Juan.
Yeah, I will.
Oh, yeah. And anyone, and I'll send a reminder, anyone that wants to hook up with Ray as a sponsor, as an angler, as a supporter, as a donor,
just questions in general.
Yeah. So his information is going to be on the show notes if you're listening in the audio version. And if you're watching the video, it's going to be in the description of the video as well. So, and just another reminder, September 1st, we're going to be talking to Christine Fisher about being a full-time angler and the challenges that come with it. So make sure you guys join us for that as well. Follow Juan on the socials. Follow Ray and Chris on the socials. Follow me if you don't already. And I appreciate you guys. So till next time, peace and God bless.